grafting in branches in Romans 11? In the next few seconds, you'll learn the powerful biblical meaning behind it. Romans 11 verse 17 says, "But if some of the branches were broken off, and you, a wild olive, were grafted in among them and have become equal sharers in the rich root." This verse signifies acceptance and unity in God's family. We, like wild olive branches, are welcomed into God's promise. Paul's analogy shows God's grace extends beyond Israel. Romans 11 verse 24 adds, "For if you were cut out of what is by nature a wild olive tree and grafted into a cultivated olive tree." Remember this as a believer in Yeshua, that we have been added as branches and have not replaced the root. Hit the like button if you found this meaningful.
No, we didn't. All right, man. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rukaha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned from, and shalom to the whole elect, preaching his word in truth and sincerity. To you, brave, to your sisters out there, learning in silence and staying in order, I say to you all, shalom. You saw the video. Topic is grafting. Right? The nations think that, Romans 11 is talking about, grafting in a tree, that was never part of the original root, right? So trees and nations are synonymous, right? If you have a tree, it symbolizes a nation, right? So an apple tree is its own nation, right? If a coconut tree is its own nation, right? This is common sense. The heathen believe that if you're a coconut tree, right, and the apple tree is the one that the Lord loves, right, that now the coconut tree could be as one or part of an apple tree, right? If you try to graft a coconut tree onto an apple tree, it'll fucking die, right? It's that simple. Like, I don't understand, like, the logic of the heathen trying to, force themselves into something that they don't belong in. Right? Let's look at Romans 11. Verse 11. This is in the American Standard Version. Right? Just for edification purposes. It says, I say then, did they stumble that they might fall? Right? Let's look at that word fall.
Strong's G 4098, Pipto.
Right, and that says to descend from a higher place to a lower, right? That means that you were at one point at a higher state, and now you're in a lower state. Right? The heathen have always been in a high state, especially Edomites. Right? This does not include you. Right? We look at these, right? All these meanings, it basically means that you was at a higher state, right? Because Israel was at one point good in the eyes of the Lord, man. So they was looked at in a high state, right? And then they went into dumb idols and became as Gentiles. Right? It's simple. Right? Go back to verse 11. Romans 11:11. I say then, did they stumble that they may fall? God forbid. But by their fall, salvation has come unto the Gentiles, right? Again, that fall, the word fall there is different as well. Salakia. Right? Look at this word fall.
Strong's G 3900, Paraptoma.
Right? And the verse number 2 is what we want to look at, right? This one right here. Can y'all see? Right? A lapse or deviation from truth and uprightness. Right? The heathen never had that. Again, disqualifying you from this verse. It's that simple. Let's go to Luke 15 and start at verse 11. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and a younger of them said to his father, give me the portion of thy substance that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey unto a far country. Right, same thing that happened to the northern kingdom. Right, they went off. Right, and then the Lord put them in the Americas so they may attempt to keep their laws, statutes, and commandments again. Right, it says, and there he wasted his substance with righteous living, and when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that country, and he began to be in want. Right, this is talking about, the Israelites that fell off. Right, it says, and he went and joined himself to one of the citizens of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine, and he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. But when he came unto him, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough to spare, and perish here with hunger? I perish here with hunger. Right, when I go down to verse 25. Now his eldest son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. He called to him one of the servants, and inquired that what these things might be. And he said unto him, thy brother is come, and thy father has killed the fattened calf, because he has received him safe and sound. Right, so this son had left, joined himself, and went completely off. Right, but the father allowed him to come back, right, into righteousness. Right, this is what that means. Right, the wild olive tree, it was the one who went off into became another citizen and took on the customs of that land, thus making him a Gentile. Right, but the father received him back. It says, but he was angry and would not go in, and his father came out and entreated him. But he answered and said to his father, lo, these many years do I serve thee, and I never transgressed a commandment of thine, and yet thou never gavest me a kid that I may make merry with my friends. Right, so this is how the Lord made the natural olive branch jealous. Right, by bringing back the son that went off, which is still part of the family. So like I almost use cuss word. Right, it says, but when this thy son came, who has devoured thy living with harlots, thou killest for him the fattened calf. And he said unto him, son, thou art ever with me, and all that is mine is thine. But it was meet to make merry and be glad, for this thy brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and it is found. It is that simple, man. I mean, there's so many precepts. I don't gotta go crazy on it. It's real simple. This is Jeremiah chapter 11 verse 16. Yahweh called thy name a green olive tree, fair with goodly fruit. With the noise of a great tumult he has kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken. For Yahweh of hosts, who planted thee, has pronounced evil against thee, because of the evil of the house of Israel and of the house of Judah, which they have wrought for themselves, in provoking me to anger by offering scent to Baal. See, this is how the Lord brought judgment to that olive branch, because they went off. Jeremiah chapter 2 verse 14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he become a prey? Right, it's a rhetorical question. Let's go to verse 22. For For though thou wash thee with lye, and take thee much soap, yet thy iniquities is marked before me, said Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. How art thou say, I am not defiled, I have not gone after the Balaam? See thy way in the valley, know what thou hast done. Thou art a swift dromedary, traversing her ways. Right? Verse 24, a wild ass used to the wilderness, that snuffed up the wind in her desire, in her occasion. Who can turn her away? All that seek her will not weary themselves. In her month they shall find her. Right? And that basically is going into, how they went off. Right? But the Christian church thinks that the Lord had did away with the people. Romans 11:1, I say then, did God cast away his people? God forbid. For I am also an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. That's simple, man. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, the GMS who I learned from, and a healthy shalom to the whole elect, preaching his word in truth and sincerity. And to you ribs, to you sisters out there learning in silence and staying in order, I say to you all, Shalom.